Welcome to a very remote edition of Brew Sky's Booze News. I am Mike Morgan in Vancouver, British Columbia. And you, sir, halfway across the world.
Brett Coleman Baker in Sète, France. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, it's 9 o'clock in the morning here, so I have not started drinking yet. But I'm still kind of drunk from last night, so I think it works out.
It's 6 p.m. My time here in Sète, and I am drinking French two-fisted chartreuse and wine. So
nice.
Just really hamming it up at 6 p.m. on a Friday. So let's jump into the news. It's going to be a special week for you all out there. As Mike said, we are investigating two stories that we dug up last week. The first one, Mike's going to give us an update. 2 drinks a week. How's it going there in Canada on only 2 drinks a week being allowed?
Okay. My investigation so far find that the Canadians are ignoring that dictate. They seem to be drinking quite a bit, and I like that about them. Also, you can use credit cards in the weed stores up here, which I have found to be incredibly advantageous. And mushrooms are semi-legal in Canada. It's kind of like the U.S. equivalent of weed, where it's not technically legal to sell them recreationally, but people are doing it anyway. We, however, haven't found a mushroom shop yet. Just weed shop.
There's nothing like raising your mental state while raising your debt on your credit card.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do it with booze all the time. So
what are the locals saying down at the bar? Are you noticing anything in regards to this 2-drink minimum? Is it causing any issues, any flare-ups? Is there an increase in the black market of alcohol?
No. You do get this. There is a thing, though. Canada apparently has a big thing with DUI. Like, to get into the country, they ask if you have any felonies or a DUI. And they can keep you out of the country altogether if you've had a DUI in the U.S. It's astoundingly arbitrary. But, yeah, apparently they're really uptight about that as well.
Interesting.
But I'm not seeing a lot of what I'm seeing is a lot of really good, well-done Vancouver beers.
Oh, what kind of trends are you noticing in the Vancouver market?
There's nothing crazy up here that I've seen so far. There's nothing really incredibly creative. Just well executed, kind of standard beers. But you're getting some good. You can get really good West Coast style IPAs and pale ales up here. Which back in Cincinnati, it's West Coast IPAs were everywhere. And then they got replaced almost entirely with New England IPAs, which I've had my fill of, quite frankly, and are usually way too juicy. So it's nice. You could still get like just a good, dank, bitter IPA here. That's good. I also texted you yesterday, Brett. I had a fantastic sour up here. And we talked about the fact that distribution in Canada is fucked up. It's something I actually want to try to understand a bit better while I'm up here. But it results in a lot of really small breweries because they don't really have the aspiration to distribute, because for whatever reason, due to how the system's set up, it's not going to happen for most of them. It seems to be a higher bar to actually be able to distribute. So you wind up with a lot of like really good nano breweries. And I had a sour yesterday that was just absolutely spectacular. These guys used everything they're using to make the beer, the barley, all the fruit, comes from here on the island. So it's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. Well, it sounds like the craft of craft beer is alive and well, at least in Canada then.
Absolutely. Yeah. Here, I mean, it's Pacific Northwest, these people have been doing beer for a long time. Doing it right.
Well, it'd be nice if we could figure out this distribution thing, because I really want to know now, why aren't we getting this great Canadian beer down in America? Because clearly we don't get a ton of imports.
Yeah, I'm going to get you answers, Brett. But I've been here like a day. So get off my back, bitch.
More investigation will take place. Well,
Yeah, I've
the
only been
update
here. I've only been here a day, and I spent most of it, figuring out weed. So
priorities. The update in France, because the story we're investigating here is the wine drinking culture is in shambles. They're destroying wine because the French aren't drinking enough wine. So I can soundly say that the only thing in shambles here in France is the fact that the utility grid is fucked. You have a hard time getting groundwater because it's all disappearing because they're not getting much rain, and customer service is just doesn't exist in France. So that's the only thing in shambles is trying to get someone to get you a fucking beer when you're at a cafe. Other than that, the wine here is cheap. It is plentiful. You can get a full glass of wine for like €2. You can go to the grocery store, get excellent bottles for less than €10. And the exchange rate's about 8% more expensive for Americans. So there's nothing in shambles here in France except for the
customer
infrastructure
service.
and customer
Yeah.
service.
Yeah,
Well,
the
as I've
water
heard,
thing's in the water thing's interesting. One of the places we're going to be this week is Tofino, and it's on an ocean, on an island that's full of rivers and waterfalls and lakes, and somehow there's a water crisis. There's a shortage of water. I don't know how the hell that happens, but it's a thing globally.
yeah,
We're running out of
it's really
water.
strange. It's strange how it's not impacting us in America yet, except unless you're in the Southwest, I guess, or
Yeah,
the West in
you're one of
general.
those places where people shouldn't live
Yeah, yeah,
because they're a
right.
fucking desert. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's nothing unexpected here in France. Wine culture seems to be doing well. The only other thing I hear complaining about a lot, I've met with a couple pastry chefs. I met with a wine owner last night. Um, Everyone's complaining about young people not wanting to work anymore, and they'd rather just clock in, clock out, and get the hell out because it's all fucked anyway. So they're not willing to put in the work. They're not going above and beyond. And most young people aren't even applying for jobs like picking grapes or wanting to wait tables because they'd rather just sit at home than do a job they're not going to like. So I don't know.
Yeah, it sounds a lot like the U.S. Over there. Shockingly, shitty customer service and people complaining that the youth don't want to work. So, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's also kind of a global norm now that there's these broader trends that are going on in the whole Western economy. Actually, it's not even that. The Chinese are also having this whole. It's very different there, but I heard a story the other day that they're bitching because the youth don't want to work these 16-hour days, 6 days a week, which
Yeah.
is kind of their norm there. And so it's kind of global, and I really respect it that there's been this whole push, driven initially by the U.S. I think, to work more and more and more and more. And now, Gen Z, for all of their failing, I respect the fact that they're saying, hey, life's for living. Fuck off. I'm not working all the time, especially not for bad wages and with no real incentive for, why I do it. I'm not going to be able to afford a house anyway. So fuck you guys. I'm going to go smoke weed.
That's exactly what it is. It's people are realizing I can't buy a house. I can't hardly afford rent anyway. Utilities are going up. Why should I bust my ass when I'm not going to be able to afford this stuff? And it made sense in the 50s and the 60s in America. If you worked harder,
Yeah.
you did make more money and you were able to get nicer things. And it wasn't required, but people wanted to do it. I actually did meet a woman from China as well. Shout out to Vivian if you're watching. She lives in Shanghai. And she actually said exactly what you just said. It's the same way in China right now with this Gen Z coming up. They'd rather just stay at home and talk to their friends on, WeChat and whatever, not go into fucking work and definitely not work more than 40 hours a week. So it's interesting how it is a global phenomenon. It's getting past the Xi Jinping social firewall, but it's still impacting them all the same.
Yeah. Well, cool. Let's all work less.
Yeah, cheers to that.
I'm doing a lot of it. I'm doing a lot of working less this week.
So White Claw is launching a new non-alcoholic hard seltzer.
Why?
it's it's called White Claw 0.0%, and it's exactly what you think it would be. It's literally just seltzer. It's seltzer water, but they're calling it non-alcoholic hard seltzer.
Ah, well, it's good marketing.
That's
It's like that Black Death water, which is just a brilliance of marketing campaign.
Liquid Death is
Yeah,
easily
that's what.
the
Yeah, yeah.
number one modern marketing success story. They are
Hmm.
just a phenomena, and it's all driven by marketing.
Yeah, yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah, the packaging's fantastic, and it's just water. It's just water with brilliant marketing.
The White Claw thing is interesting because it's targeting a shelf spot by choice and by marketing. By calling it a non-alcoholic hard seltzer, it's going to be put onto the beer shelf. Where if it was just White Claw
Mm.
seltzers, it would be in the food aisle, and then you'd have to deal with different distribution networks, and you'd have to deal with different pay-to-pay rules and other crap that you have to do with grocery stores. So this is a very specific utilize the supply chain we already have via marketing to make a product that costs us basically nothing to make that we're going to charge $10 a six pack for.
And take up more of the limited beer shelf space with water.
With water. Yes.
Yeah, all right. I hate it, but it's kind of brilliant.
Well said.
I hate everything about White Claw, but they're printing money, and I'm not.
Ozempic is now proven to cut alcohol cravings. I think we have talked about this. In
It
mice,
has
I
been
think.
theorized. Yeah, they were going to
Yep.
study it.
And so now there's people in the industry, whatever, canaries in the coal mine, and they're saying that this could be a black swan event. And that means what they're worried about is that this will catch on popularity wise. Everybody will be taking Ozempic, and most people then will decide they just don't want to drink alcohol, and the whole alcohol industry will collapse. And we're going to look back on this 10 years from now and be like, yeah, the Ozempic is what caused the alcohol industry to implode and die on itself. What's your thoughts?
I doubt it. I mean, first of all, not everybody's going to be on it. There's already supply problems with the drug. It's hard to get it in parts of the country. So I wish I owned the stock. I'll say that, but I don't think that I don't think booze is going away. But I don't know. I mean, do we wind up drinking less as humans? Maybe. But yeah,
Well,
I mean, I think it's only like really hardcore dive bars where like hard alcoholism drives your numbers. Your shots in the morning and that type of thing. So I don't know. I don't think that it's. That doesn't frighten me for the industry, but it's interesting. It's interesting that and the whole monkey shot in the brain thing that they may actually be curing the alcoholism.
that would definitely be a good thing. I mean, alcoholism kills a lot of people, so I don't think we need to shy away from saying that would be positive. But yeah, the industry's not going anywhere. This isn't going to kill alcohol. This to me just screams of, hey, this is going to be a good story to write about and stir people's emotions, opinions up. So nothing's gonna change. People are going to keep
Yeah, I
drinking.
don't think Ozempic has put McDonald's out of business yet. So, it's the same thing. I mean, maybe
It
people
is.
are less likely to supersize, but you're still going to eat, you're still going to drink. You might just do it a little bit more responsibly.
Well said. We have an
And that,
update.
but not that's definitely not me this week.
This is this is breaking news. I can't believe this is happening while you're in Canada, Mike. I don't know what you did, but somehow your international relations has given us an update from the White House. The Biden alcohol czar Koob, has said that Biden will not limit beer drinkers in the USA. And we quote, the claim we will slash drinking guidelines in the US is false. Mike, you did it.
Nice. You go, Joe. Yeah, that would have been the thing. That would have been the thing that cost him.
Hey, be
Reduction
healthier.
in beer.
No, we're voting for Trump.
Yeah. Not even
Well,
if Biden came and slapped the beer right out of my hand, personally.
Well,
What else has happened in the world, Brett?
speaking of terrible decisions, um, there are industry watchdogs that are having their hackles raised up because there's a huge increase in hard sodas and hard juices like hard Sunny D, hard Mountain Dew, hard Slimpy Lemonade, hard Monster Energy drink. All of these things that are starting to hit the market are starting to really come close to marketing to children. And it looks like maybe we're going to run into some issues within the next year from the TTB cracking down on these types of things. So I don't think it's a bad thing.
No, there again, it's, we have talked on the podcast a little bit about some of the sleazy things that have happened in the beer industry in the past. Spuds McKenzie in particular, we hit on in one of the podcast episodes. I don't remember the number of it, but I as a kid, like Spuds McKenzie, that ad campaign was definitely directed at teenagers and preteens, and it worked. I mean, the reason that before the collapse of Bud Light for completely arbitrary reasons, Bud Light had the popularity it did was its numbers went up huge in the late 80s and early 90s. And that, again, was brilliant marketing. It goes back to that Spuds McKenzie ad campaign, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, this, party dog that all the ladies were into. But whatever, it worked. And it was really directed at teenagers. And you kind of see that in Gen X, that those Bud Light became the brand of an entire generation because they were targeted as children. And it's kind of fucked.
Well said. It is fucked. So hopefully we do actually move away from that. The average price in beer has stabilized at an increase of $1 per six pack through 2023 over prior years. It's roughly 13% increase. So
feels
expect
like
at this
more.
point in time. It does. It does. I think now that is probably kept lower because the majority of beer is being sold at $8.99, $6.99 a six pack. So now it's $1 more. But if you go from $10.99 up to 11 or 11 up to 12, it feels like a harder hit. Bill Gates bought up $95 million worth of shares of Anheuser-Busch. Time to buy?
No. What's Bill Gates know? Have you used Word lately? I mean, spell check still sucks. Like you can get on, you can use AI now to write an entire book. Yet spell check can't figure out the goddamn word I'm trying to spell when I'm typing it phonetically. So Word hasn't gotten any better since 1996 or whatever. It actually just continues to get shittier. So what Bill Gates knows is right place, right time, and create a monopoly. That's what that idiot knows. I don't think he knows a fucking thing about business.
Don't disagree. If he does know right place, right time, and Anheuser-Busch being near a monopoly, maybe it is the right time to invest. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, I mean, they definitely have monopolies tend to do well, as he knows. He does understand monopoly, and AB InBev is they're a monopoly in a lot of places. I mean, it would not have been what AB InBev has done in terms of market share would not have been allowed in the United States 40 or 50 years ago. We just quit caring about monopolies. So maybe.
Well, on to the non-alc story of the week, international edition. The Rugby World Cup starts tonight in France, of all places, and it's going to get crazy. That's short.
Are you playing?
Easy. Do you have any updates, Mike, from abroad?
No. No, we got here yesterday and investigated bars and dispensaries, and I'm kind of hungover and fuzzy this morning, which is apparent to me, and I'm sure everyone else. But it is absolutely beautiful here. I'm going to try to show you guys where I'm at. We tried to have like a good background to record this. but it didn't work out. But here's, well, yeah, that's a lot of light you can't see.
You have to
But off
take
my
yourself
deck,
out of
it's
the
loud
frame,
as
and that should
hell.
help.
They're doing construction here. You can see this is off my balcony, so it's
Ooh,
pretty.
she looks good.
That's Victoria for you. Yeah.
Well, this has been a great episode of Booze News. Mike, good luck nursing the fuzzies. I'm sure you'll do a great job taking care of it. I'm going to go out and explore this little seaside town in France and get wine drunk with the wife.
I'm gonna send some fantastic pictures, and so I'll try to keep. I'll do some short video. We'll keep some people apprised of what's going on here, how we're drinking and drinking in beauty.
Hell yeah. Well, until next week, cheers.
Cheers.